How artists do art. I know this may sound obvious, but it's something we don't often think about when we're looking at a painting. Before the picture looked like this, it first looked like this. Starting with nothing, artists make many decisions. Every mark, every color is a choice. A decision to use cool colors or warm colors. Deciding where on the page those marks should lay. Deciding about mood and lighting, as well as many other decisions. Sometimes there are happy accidents, and sometimes there are not so happy accidents. So obviously, every artist does art differently. We have our own ideas and techniques. So what do artists have in common? To answer that question, I'd like to share with you a bit of insight one of my art professors shared with me. He told me that to become a great artist had less to do with drawing and painting, and more to do with learning to see. So, to continue on my quest to teach you how to see a new side of MLP, I decided to share with you the thought process of an artist, namely, me. I will walk you through some of the decisions I made when creating this painting of Rarity, and the reasons behind those decisions. This piece was originally created for Rarity Day. When I thought of Rarity, I thought of fashion. The more I thought of fashion, the more I thought everyone would probably draw a fashionable Rarity. I decided to take a different approach. I wanted to make a comment on self-image in society, with Rarity as the medium. I decided to do a twist on Norman Rockwell's painting Triple Portrait. In his painting, the self-portrait is obviously an idealized version of himself. You can see in the mirror where he wears glasses, and he has images of famous portraits pinned on the right edge of the painting for reference. The mirror is the visually accurate version of himself, but the portrait he is painting is the image he wants to show society. It is either a painting of how he sees himself or how he wants to be seen. The idea of identity, self, and self-image fit perfectly with what I wanted to address. So I created a sketch of how I wanted my image to fit on the paper. I placed the main elements and put them in the center of the painting, where we tend to look first. These include Rarity's reflection, her necklace, hairbrush, and watch. I knew I wanted to use my color palette and lighting to create mood. Since Rarity's color scheme was already made up of cool colors, I stayed with that family of colors, focusing on purples and blues to add the overall feeling of melancholy. Warm contrasting colors may have looked nice, but would have given a much different feeling to the painting. I did use browns, gold, and black. The black was only used in the details of Rarity's eyes, the clock face, and the magazine type. Color can be used to draw your eye through a painting. Rarity's eyes are the central focus. Then you see the black in the magazine type, and perhaps lastly, the face of the clock. Each image helps to put together the story the picture is telling. We see that she is upset. Then we read the magazine headline, and since it's dark and her watch reads 11 o'clock, we know it's late. Finally, you may notice the black in her eyes of the picture at the top of the mirror. The rest of the shadows are created with purples and blues, and a bit of brown. The rich blue color of Rarity's eyes also draw attention. There is very little of that particular blue color used in the painting. A little in the picture of Rarity on the mirror, a little in the folds of her dress, and a little in the jewels. The dress and the jewels let us know she was somewhere important enough that she wanted to make sure she looked fabulous. Perhaps an opening where things didn't go quite how she planned. The most prominent color is the purple in Rarity's hair, which is also found in her shading, the background in the mirror, and the hearts on the mirror. I'm a big fan of putting symbols into my paintings, since I've already let you know this is a painting about self-image and society. Can you find some of the symbols? If you've seen my video Quintessentially MLP, you know about the hearts. I made the hearts purple because of how important Rarity's hair is to her. She is using an exquisitely ornate brush to brush her beautiful hair, still caring for her image even when she's upset. But let's go a bit deeper, shall we? I wanted the painting to be full of symbols, so each item in the picture has meaning, much like the things we treasure in life have meaning to us. If you look closely, you will notice I've included 3 gems that make up Rarity's cutie mark in the painting. Look carefully. Did you find them? One is in the necklace set in gold. The other 2 are in the jeweled brush, one in the center and one in the handle. The brush has gold-encrusted swirls that form a heart around the gems. I decided to use acrylic paint for this piece because 1. I have gold metallic paint, and 2. The paint had texture and depth to it. I have put her cutie mark gems in the ornate brush and necklace to represent the importance of Rarity's visual image to her self-image. Rarity is beautiful on both the inside and the outside, but what happens when her beauty fades? I made the watch with hearts and gems as well, showing the importance of time in her life. I almost put the third gem in the watch, then decided not to, because although time is important to her, it's something she doesn't wish to have associated with her image, since beauty fades with age. So the watch carries the idea of time past and time lost. The hands of the watch are approaching midnight, that time when the princess turns into a pumpkin and dreams fade away. It's also the same time on the clock in the Cutie Map Part 2. Remember that. Now let's move on to the magazine review. Cosmere is a parallel to a well-known fashion magazine that represents society and public opinion. I thought about having the article ripped out and taped to the mirror, but I decided it worked better on the side of the vanity, and yes, I have placed her in front of a piece of furniture called a vanity. But back to the magazine. I felt that having the magazine on the mirror competed visually with the image of Rarity's reflection. Also, having the magazine on the side of the vanity felt like a better representation of how criticism affects us. It's more of an ever-present secondary thought, something you can't stop seeing even if it's not the focus of your life. Let's go back to Rarity's reflection. In the mirror, we see the Rarity we all know, the image she puts on for everyone to see, combined with the intimate moment of sorrow she feels due to the magazine review. Okay, this is a big one. Take a really good look. Do you notice anything? This is not an actual mirror reflection of the Rarity sitting in the painting. A mirror image would have to be flipped. Just compare the longer hair that hits the shoulder to the hair in the reflection. Okay, take another close look. Does this reflected image match the Rarity sitting in front of the mirror? If you said no, you're correct. Notice the hand touching the mirror. It would have to be touching her hair. And even with the flipped mirror image, the hair on her shoulder doesn't match the hair hanging in front of her shoulder in the reflection. So you may be thinking, Patty B, what were you thinking? So now that I have you thinking about what I was thinking, I've achieved my first goal of getting you to actually take more than the average 3 seconds spent by most people to look at a piece of art. And I've got you thinking about the art you took more than 3 seconds to look at. You are starting to see. See what I mean? See what I did there? Okay, so here's what I was thinking. Yes, I did this on purpose, because the image of Rarity in the mirror is a combination of what Rarity is really seeing and how she sees herself. It's not her true mirror image, but it is her true self-image. Okay, let me explain. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought you looked particularly good that day? Perhaps you were in a good mood or having a good day. Someone may have complimented you on your outfit or hair. Then after getting yourself ready the exact same way on a different day, you hate the way you look. Perhaps you were not having the best day. Perhaps someone pointed out a peculiar pimple or other blemish in your appearance or character. What we see in the mirror and how we see ourselves is affected by, well, how we see ourselves. Do you see yourself through society's eyes or your own eyes? Who do you think is the best judge of who you are? This brings us to the picture at the top of the mirror. A younger picture. Time again. Rarity is pining for an earlier time of success and beauty. We may have noticed little streaks of light blue in her hair. I originally tried graying her hair, but it gave a haunting feeling. Okay, so far we have a mirror image that is more idealized, but sad because of public opinion. Let's go a little farther down the rabbit hole for the rest of the story. The next set of symbols are subtle, but on purpose, so stay with me. They are the lucky charms on the frame of the mirror. I took them directly from Carousel Boutique. Why, you ask? I wanted the mirror to represent Rarity's home, the place where she lives, because her identity is wrapped up in her mirror image. Remember, this is about self-image in society. There's the saying, people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. In the picture, Rarity hasn't thrown any stones. She's had the stones thrown at her. And if we choose to live in the mirror, our self-image can be too easily shattered. Okay, back to how I made the painting. At this point, I liked my painting and my symbols and my colors and layout, but I needed to add a final touch to finish the mood, so I brought the painting into Photoshop to add some dramatic lighting. I hope this episode has shed some light on how artists do art, or at least how I do art, and helped you learn a bit more about the art of seeing. May your eyes be open so you can follow along with my next episode, which will finally be the Cutie Map Parts 1 and 2. I was originally going to do this video after Twilight's Castle, but it is filled with many tidbits I didn't want you to miss. So instead, I have been training you to prepare you for your next trip down the rabbit hole into the Cutie Map Parts 1 and 2 in Cutie Map Compassion. Until next time.